This country's a goddamn joke. So Karen Bass got to go. The mayor of a city, one city, not even of all of California, got to go because of the lies that y'all telling about how she's managed these fires. First of all, the fact that y'all are believing these lies without even taking the time to verify that they are lies tells me a lot about y'all, and it tells me a lot about why the country is exactly where it is. Makes a lot of sense. But the fact that y'all are saying that the mayor of a city has to go at the same fucking time that y'all just gave power back to a dude who mismanaged a pandemic so badly that 1 million people ain't here no more says a lot. The dude who took the pandemic response playbook left to him by Obama and threw it out because he didn't like Obama. And him throwing out that playbook made the pandemic worse, which again cost 1 million people their lives. Y'all gave him the job back? The dude who fired the pandemic response team because he said, and I quote, "I don't like having a bunch of people around when we don't need them." Y'all gave him the fucking job back. But Karen Bass got to go. The dude who was caught on audio tape, I'm going to say it again, he's caught on audio tape lying about how bad the pandemic is going to be. Y'all gave him the job back, but Karen Bass got to go. The dude, there's not enough ways for me to say, fuck y'all. It's not enough ways and not enough time.
All right, guys. So we got to continue our coverage of the mental gymnastics that the liberals and the mainstream liberal media and the woke revolutionaries are using to cover for Democrats in California, specifically Mayor Karen Bass, who was in Africa when these wildfires broke out at the inauguration of Ghana's president. Okay, even though she knew, okay, there was a chance that these wildfires could start due to the upcoming wind conditions. Okay, so she was fully aware that her city could be facing a total disaster, but she decided that it's more important to go to Africa, okay, to go back to the homeland, okay, to get in touch with the ancestors, right? This is what she decided to do, okay? And the reason why you have so many of these people coming to her defense is because she is a woke black woman. And of course, you cannot criticize woke black women, okay? Woke black women cannot be criticized no matter what due to the fact that they're black. So therefore, they are immune from criticism, okay? If you criticize them, then therefore it must be because of racism. It can't be because they're not doing a good job, right? It has to be something else.
Okay, I'm genuinely wondering why so many people are coming for Mayor Karen Bass. I see so many legacy media companies and just regular people in general talking so much mess about Mayor Karen Bass, but I'm wondering because Mayor Karen Bass is not the mayor of Malibu, Bruce Silverton is. Mayor Karen Bass is not the mayor of the Palisades, Eugene Levy is. Mayor Karen Bass is not the mayor of Pasadena or Eaton County. Mayor Victor M. Gordo is. She has no jurisdiction, no governance over those areas whatsoever. And I'm constantly seeing people attack her for what's going on in Malibu, what's going on in Pasadena. But I don't hear a whisper or not a peep, or I haven't seen anything in the media about those mayors. I see a lot of people getting on her head for cutting the fire department's budget by $17.3 million. But when you go look further into it, you see that the budget actually doubles. It actually increased, except it went to different areas within the department. And then when you look further into it, you realize that it's not her fault. She's not really in charge of making sure that the fire hydrants are filled. That is like water department, works, and sanitation's role to make sure those departments are full. So there needs to be an investigation into them.
Y'all, I'm just coming through. I want to talk about the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass. I hear that Kim Kardashian and her little croonies got a lot to say about Karen Bass. They want her to resign. Let me tell you this. Karen Bass didn't start no fire out there. We know she didn't do it because she was in Ghana. Okay? Karen is a human being. She's able to travel and go on vacation if she have to. The level of attack from you all, it's just disrespectful. Kim Kardashian, with y'all billionaires, why aren't y'all out there helping these people? Y'all got plenty of money. Quit running your mouth, Kim Kardashian, and spend some of that money and help the people out there who need some help. Kardashian, I know y'all voted for Trump, and he don't even want Mexican people over here and talking junk to the Canadians, okay? So at least these people are still good neighbors to us. So while you running your mouth, spend some of that money you got and help these people instead of running your mouth. If you can't support the black lady, Don't come against her like that, okay?
Okay, and a lot of the criticisms of her are completely and totally valid due to her mismanagement of city funds and city resources that, in my opinion, has contributed to the disaster that has happened to the city due to the wildfires. Okay, and you have a lot of people that are coming out and basically calling for her to resign. Okay, in fact, you have the owner of the LA Times. He came out and he basically said that he regrets his endorsement of Mayor Karen Bass. Take a look.
Well, first of all, we'll accept some blame, right? So at the LA Times, we endorse Karen Bass. I think right now in front, that's a mistake, and we admit that. So I thought it was very important early on for me to come out. And I think we were one of the few to say competence matters. We got like maybe 20, 23 million views to show how that was really dear to the heart of most people, whether you're right or left. And it's an interesting thing is that maybe we should think about how we elect people on the basis of, did they actually run a job? Did they actually make a payroll? Do they understand what it is? And rather than having professional politicians whose only job is really to run for office. There's nothing, I'm not trying to be disparaging, but I think we're at the stage now of the nation and the world, and there's many things we'll talk about even in healthcare, that you really need people to understand how it affects a man in the street, how it affects the working type of person. And I think President Trump in this election has understood that, and he's become truly a Republican Party, as you said, he's become the Democratic Party in terms of addressing the problems of the man in the street. So competence absolutely matters, and I'm glad that that's been taken up as almost a meme now, that competence matters.
Dan.
Thank you. Yeah, so what you have here is the owner of the LA Times coming out and saying, hey, I regret endorsing Karen Bass, okay, because she's proven to be incompetent. Now, here's the thing. We learned during the presidential campaign season that it is racist. It is extremely racist to say a black woman is incompetent, right? You can't say that at all, okay? If you say that, that is a form of racism, hate, and bigotry.
She was Biden's border czar. We've had record number of border crossings. And incompetence, she stood side by side with Joe Biden on every single foreign policy disaster we've had, including the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. She owns that record. That's all Donald Trump has to talk about. The rest will take care of itself.
She's not incompetent. Okay, like you don't become the Attorney General of California
or a U.S. Senator
or the Vice President of the United States. By calling her incompetent, you're calling the 81 million people who voted for her incompetent as well. But let me just say this. That is what we're talking about. There is a way to attack her record on policy without calling her a name. Incompetent is an unflattering name. And when people do that to black women, that is what Van is talking about. You might not agree, but as a black woman, let me tell you how we hear it.
Yeah, so it should be no surprise that the woke revolutionaries got upset with the Kardashians, specifically Khloé Kardashian, coming out here and criticizing Karen Bass, okay? Calling Karen Bass a joke, because again, you're not supposed to criticize black women or else the mob is going to come after you. And the mob did come after Khloé Kardashian, led by Jemele Hill, who went on MSNBC with Al Sharpton and completely and totally humiliated herself trying to fact check Khloé Kardashian while at the same time getting her own facts wrong. Take a look.
The historic black area passed down from generations of families. But while we're talking about wildfires, you came to the defense of L.A. Mayor Karen Bass in the comments of a blog posted involving Khloé Kardashian on Instagram. Khloé bashed Bass. She blasted Mayor Bass for calling her a, quote, joke over her handling of the infernos. But you say she's, quote, ill-informed. What exactly is she wrong about, Khloé Kardashian? And what do you make of the reaction to the fires online, where the disaster is being blamed on everything from DEI to endangered fish?
Look, I understand part of this is natural human reaction. This is a catastrophe here in Los Angeles like no one has seen before. And automatically people want to find somebody to blame. It is what it is. But what I would encourage everybody who's watching this program right now to do, Google Khloé Kardashian and the Kardashians and water usage. You'll find some very interesting information because their family alone, the amount of water they use is so excessive that it was a news story, a big news story here in Los Angeles. So I find that her comments to call out Mayor Bass, and especially in a moment where people are just trying to survive, you know, and you are one of the most glamorous, privileged families in this city. And so for her to call Mayor Bass a joke, it's just not the time for that. You know, listen, we don't know the source of these fires. It's so much information that we don't have, so much misinformation that has been allowed to really pollute this issue online. You know, between the back and forth between the fire department. Look, the fire chief herself said that even with however you want to frame these cuts, because the fire department did receive a raise, all right, I want everybody to understand that. There was 17 million cut from the budget. Then there was another 50 million that they received in raises and salary because they were in the process of negotiation when this city budget happened. Right. The police or the fire chief herself said, okay, on television that 17 million had nothing to do with why they were unable to fight these fires. The truth is sometimes very unsexy, right, and that's what people don't like. The truth is we had winds that were 100 miles an hour. A municipal water system that is not equipped to fight four to six major fires at one time, because people have to understand the same water the fire department gets is the same one the residents use. All right, so they are not. There's no water system in the country that is equipped to handle a fire of this magnitude. And that is the facts, right? Yeah. And so there will be time to assess Mayor Karen Bass's performance. I don't know if now in real time, as information is coming in and as we're trying to understand that information, if now is the time.
Yeah. So once again, we have a liberal embarrassing themselves in an attempt to defend the indefensible. Okay. Because again, while she's trying to fact check Khloé Kardashian, she gets the fact check wrong herself, because the LA fire chief did in fact come out and say that the $17 million budget cut did hamper their ability to fight these fires. That's exactly what she said on national television, even though Jemele Hill claimed that the fire chief said the exact opposite. Take a look.
I must ask you, because a lot of people are talking about the warning that you sent last month that the budget cuts have, quote, severely limited the department's capacity to prepare for, train for, and respond to large-scale emergencies, including wildfires. You sent that warning about these budget cuts. Was this preventable?
I tell you, from the budget cut side of things, when there's a $17 million cut in our budget, operating costs, immediately from that point, I had to make some tough decisions. I looked at some other duties and responsibilities that we do as a fire department and had to focus right back on the training of our firefighters and also our ability to respond to the everyday fires and EMS response.
Would that $17 million that had been cut from your budget have made a difference in this fight?
I would say with the lean forward posture that we took, knowing that a $17 million cut we had to take from somewhere, and that was from the non-essential duties and responsibilities that as a fire department we have taken on over the past many, many years.
But with all due respect, in December you had warned that the budget cuts would severely limit your ability to respond to large-scale emergencies. Is that true or not?
Yes, so I would say yes, we were limited to a certain factor, yes.
And let me ask you about how that limited your response, because in the early hours of the wildfires, especially in the Pacific Palisades, we had a team on the ground, a crew there with our reporter, and witnessed a number of homes burned to the ground, and there was not a fire truck in sight. How did that happen?
We pre-deployed the most amount of emergency resources that we could with what we had. With the pre-deployment, when the fire takes off, we're going to push as many resources that we can at that particular incident. And that's what we did. We did exactly what we could with what we had.
Yeah, so Jemele Hill either just flat out lied or she is in fact spreading misinformation while trying to fight the spreading of misinformation. That is how silly this stuff has gotten, guys. Okay, the left, they're so obsessed with trying to control the narrative because, again, it's not about facts. Okay, it's not about facts. Let's be clear. It's about the narrative. They will twist the facts in order to fit the narrative no matter what, because, again, the facts are just simply not on her side. Okay, in fact, we have the letter from the Fire Commission to Karen Bass, warning her about the effect of the budget cuts on their ability to fight these fires, right? This came out December 4th, December 17th, okay? So we're talking about almost a month in advance that there was warnings about, hey, we're facing a shortage, that we're going to have some issues due to budget cuts. But yet again, you got these clowns, the arbiters of truth, saying, oh, well, they're right. They're spreading misinformation, right? And it's just like, no, you're the one spreading misinformation. You don't care about the facts. You only care about the narrative. And you want to protect the woke black mayor at all costs. And you will lie about it. You will spread misinformation in order to do it. And they're trying to play these word games, okay, with the budget in order to try to justify it. When at the end of the day, they cut $17.6 million from the budget, and that's the end of it. That's what they did, okay? And that hampered their ability. The fire chief admitted it. Before wildfires broke out across Los Angeles, the city's fire chief said the budget cuts were hampering the department's ability to respond to emergencies. A department memo shows. Funding for the city's fire department decreased by $17.6 million or 2% between the 2024-2025 fiscal year and the 2023-2024 fiscal year, according to city budget documents. However, the city council in November approved a 4-year, $203 million contract with the firefighters union to help boost wages and health benefits for staff, drawing from the budget's general fund. The budget cuts drew criticism as firefighters scrambled to contain the ongoing fires. In the December 4th memo, LAFD Fire Chief Kristen Crowley wrote to the Board of Fire Commissioners that the budget cuts, quote, have adversely affected the department's ability to maintain core operations. Crowley said that a $17 million reduction in overtime hours severely limited the capacity to prepare for, train for, and respond to large-scale emergencies and affected their capacity for brush clearance inspections and residential inspections. The cuts, wrote in a memo from July 24th, resulted from eliminating 58 positions, adjusting sworn salary accounts, and removing one-time expenses. Some have pointed to the one-time expenses, such as the purchase of new breathing equipment for firefighters, as one reason why there have been a reduction in the current fiscal year budget compared to the year before. When asked about the budget cuts at Thursday's morning press conference, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass said they did not impact the department's ability to handle the ongoing fires. Okay, so again, apparently the mayor and the fire chief disagree, right? They disagree about whether or not the budget cuts affect their ability to fight the fire, okay? But to just flat out lie about what the fire chief said when she said the same thing in multiple interviews, and we have a memo where the fire chief is specifically saying that, yes, these budget cuts are hampering our ability to do our job. It's crazy to me, especially because Jemele Hill is supposed to be correcting misinformation while also at the same time spreading misinformation herself on national television. Just wrong, right? Just flat out wrong. Confidently wrong. But, you know, this is the current state of the liberal media, guys. This is what they're doing. They want to boohoo, whine, and cry about misinformation while spreading misinformation themselves in order to cover for the incompetence of the Democrats. And again, this is why these people have no credibility. That's why they have no credibility. They will lie about everything in order to protect Democrats at all costs. It's fascinating stuff. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.